Here we go, as your dramatic effect, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of what the hell do we have here? The My Amigo Like YouTube channel, that's correct. So today I'm going to be talking about some interesting knockoff sets, if you will. They've been around since the 70s. They were all the rave. Were they? I guess. These actually were made when our vintage G.I. Joe and our vintage Big Jim figure, well, this doesn't want to focus today, does it? How about that? Our vintage Big Jim figures were coming out. And, you know, it's interesting because let's do a little dig in first. So let's go a little bit through here. So basically we have this really cool box, or this container, if you will, this window box, which looks very similar to the Windows box that was made from Mighty Neil, Mighty Gary. It's got the same color scheme, kind of the same style. They kind of just changed the header a little bit. Some of the fonts are similar. Some of these boxes are starting to come apart a little bit. These are actually unpunched. They were unused. I assume they had lots of old stock because I see them floating around. So you've got Premier All-Stars will fit all 12-inch action figures. Not going to lie, some of the parts are more... they're a little more Big Jim size. I mean, that's a pretty small bat for a G.I. Joe. The shoes, yes. The pants, a little small. They will not fit all 12-inch action figures. Some of the clothes, like I guess even if these were, you know, short pants or knickers, if you will, for our friends in Australia. You got your knickers on. All right, there we go. So anyway, and the hats are more Big Jim size, so it's kind of a mix. And it tells you it will fit all 12-inch action dolls, including Canon Action G.I. Joe. Well, some of it will. What I do like about this, has some pretty cool artwork, and it follows the same style artwork as the Mighty Neil and Mighty Gary boxes. And as you can see, they took the Mighty Neil and Mighty Gary, there was a lot of military-based type pictures with, you know, an army guy and a scuba diver and so on. But these are more, these were all made for sport. And you can see they've got scuba diving, hockey, baseball, football, soccer, race driving, warm-up, karate. For those of you, karate. Brian Sanchez yelled at me because I say it's karate. He says, no, my friend, this is karate. Karate, the art of the empty hand. So I'm sorry, Sensei Sanchez. And, of course, basketball. Now, what's interesting about these is very little of the outfits on the artwork actually match what's in the box, other than maybe the karate set. So let's take a look. Oh, excuse me, Brian Sanchez, Sensei Sanchez, the karate. So yeah, it's got the white outfit, the white gi, and it's got breakable boards. It's the same style as the Big Jim. If I took out a Big Jim karate board, you'd see it's the same exact mold. They remolded it. Even the stick here, the kendo sword, if you will, the kendo practice stick, even has a little handle for Big Jim's hand. Yes. So I thought that was interesting. And what's actually pretty cool. So that's about the only one's close. Then we've got, let's say, football. Actually, this one's not too far off. Although, if you look at the football, he's got a 7 on his outfit. This one comes with an 8. These shoulder pads, if you will, are way too small for a G.I. Joe. They're about a 9-inch figure. These are actually the same mold, from what I've seen and could determine, as the 9-inch O.J. Simpson figure with his outfit, football, helmet, and so on. But the shoes, again, are G.I. Joe size. Here's your football outfit. We have the baseball outfit, which happens to be this one. If you take a look, we've got this yellow baseball outfit, white socks, and so on. This happens to be blue. I've only seen them in blue. The bat, the glove, they're all Big Jim size, or possibly even Mego. The hat even is a Big Jim size. Giant shoes, red socks, and he's missing the baseball. Now, the baseball is the same as what comes in this tennis set. Yes. Now, this one, all they did was put a piece of tape over where the baseball was to the board, and that's really not a great way. One piece of tape to hold around objects like that, especially when it dries up, is not going to be that great. So over time it came out, and this one escaped before I got it. This one, same idea, but I was able to save it by putting in a little Ziploc bag, and you can see there's a little bit of tape, but take a good look at it. It's kind of silver, if you will, instead of green or yellow. This outfit, the tennis outfit, isn't even on the back. So here we are into a knockoff company in the 70s who were just, doing some advertising, trying to get some product out there to hook on to the G.I. Joe craze or the Ken doll craze or the Big Jim craze. And so they were making their wonderful sets for that. We've got our baseball, our tennis, we've seen the karate, we've seen the football. Here we have this is our warm-up set. Now you can see he's got a blue tracksuit and blue, they don't even look like sneakers. They look like slip-on shoes. Very interesting. And when we take a look at the set, we've got kind of this maroon top. We have these stretch pants. Today, I think only women wear those. And we have these little weights here, which are very similar, I guess, to the Barbie weights, if I'm correct, if I have that right. So if you see these floating around. Now, this one, interestingly enough, this one, I can see the fortune cookie tag, as I was told it's called by Mr. Danny Gates. And fortunately for us, this box is a little worn. So let's take a closer look and see what's going on in here. You can see that all they did was put there's a little piece of sticky tape, which can be repaired and on there, but let's take a closer look. So the material's nice. I mean, there's so much overstock of this stuff, which is why you find them in these packages, unused, but this is pretty much Barbie weights. But let's see what this fortune cookie tag says. There you go. It just says Hong Kong. So here's a clear indicator that this might be a Premier's Action All-Star. Now, that's the last that I have to show you. Oh, no, it's not the last. I'm sorry. Before we get to the next thing, we have this basketball set. Okay, top could fit a G.I. Joe. I mean, if you take a look at the difference in the shoe size, can you see it? This is like, if this was a real person, this was size 10. These are like a size 7. So these are more Big Jim size, whereas these are G.I. Joe size. So they were just basically stealing parts from everywhere, remolding. The soccer set is one I don't have, but the soccer ball is actually, it's not a soccer ball like you see here. It's actually the same as this basketball. Quite interesting. So we've got a lot of cool things going on with these. I enjoy them because they're knockoffs. I think they're pretty neat. But I want to show you the thing that's the most intriguing to me. Besides the fact that these sets mimic other sets. Well, let's go take a look so I can give you an idea, because you're probably like, what the hell are you talking about? Well, let me give you an idea. These are Mighty Neil, Mighty Gary sets, for example. And these aren't the only guys that did it. So if you take a quick look at what we got going on here, let's go do a quick package comparison, if you will. Can you see the similarities? The red stars, the white stripes. This one has flame retardant fabric. These are Action Jackson knockoffs. As a matter of fact, I don't want to get into this tonight, but if you take a look at this Mighty Neil outfit, somebody sold a garage sale, I guess, for 15 cents, right? It's so Mego stolen that it actually has an Action Jackson flight suit in there. That's correct. Now the boots aren't Mego. They're a knockoff brand, and this never came with AJ. The helmet's a little crappy, but look at that. It's actually got the AJ sticker, and this is a Mighty Neil. A lot of these were done in Australia. Taking a look at the back, see, it's got the same kind of artwork. We've got the blue, we've got the white, and the red. And if you take a look, yeah, we've got similar artwork. Thank God the Frogman, the Scuba Diver, they did different artwork, but, it's more military type stuff. But this is more along the G.I. Joe or Action Jackson type stuff, even the sets, right? They're pretty much G.I. Joe or AJ. And I think they were repackaging a lot of Mego stuff, some knockoff stuff, but I thought that was quite interesting. It's got the Action Jackson sticker, so clearly that was made by Mego. Remember, a lot of this stuff was coming out of the same factories at the time, and so on. So you see an idea, you see how these things are, kind of used and reused and borrowed and so on. But I want to show this to you because I thought this was interesting. So, made in Hong Kong, 168 7th Street, Brooklyn, New York. Look at the name of the company. Premier, let's get that together there. Let's zoom in. There we go. Premier Doll Togs. Now, I'm not going to say that that wasn't the company name that they wanted, but I will bet you the farm that somebody fucked up and that should have been Premier Doll Toys. I can almost guarantee that somebody fucked that up because probably somebody in Hong Kong who didn't speak English very well typed it wrong, and that's the way it stayed. That's the way it stayed. So I thought that was interesting. Premier Doll Togs. And yes, that's who they're sold as. So I have yet to see the scuba diving outfit or the hockey outfit or the race driving outfit. I'm actually working on obtaining the soccer outfit as we speak and a baseball set that actually has the baseball still in it. So these are actually interesting. If anybody else has anything, I'd be interested if you have them to shoot a comment and maybe send some pictures, if you will, or let's take a look at some pictures when you do a video and bring you on and you could show some of the stuff, because these are actually quite interesting. I thought they were pretty neat. They're neat knockoffs. We can repair these boxes, we will, with some tape, kind of put them back together, make them look nice and so on. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Not a lot of people know a lot about these, or they shun them off as, it's just a knockoff set. But as you can see in the Toy Room of Solitude, knockoffs are key down here. We have crazy knockoffs all over the place. Tons of knockoffs. We love the knockoffs. And the camera needs to focus a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. All right, let's focus there, Mr. Camera. Yeah. Anyway, knockoffs are key down here. So we have tons and tons of it. And as you can see, lots of Mighty Neil, Mighty Gary. Even some of the sets here. Even our friend down here, Soldado Mike. Same idea. You could still see the set's been borrowed. They use the same idea with the boxes. Same thing. Matter of fact, Soldado Mike and the Mighty Neil boxes are the same, except for they changed the Soldado Mike name. And I think they might have printed those in Italian. I have to take a look. It's been a while since I looked. But yeah, so there you have it. A little bit of the Premier's Doll Togs, which I think should have been Premier Doll Toys, Action All-Star sets. Neat little set, a lot of fun to collect. Again, borrowing from Big Jim, borrowing from Barbie or Ken, borrowing from G.I. Joe, borrowing from Mego. Quite a bit in here, but yeah, it's quite interesting. So there you go. Hope you guys are having a great evening. If you like and subscribe, that's even better. Have a great day.